Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chaksuranmilitam Yanam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Sapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sherupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishagan Vidamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshare Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. Nashtapaye subhadesho nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtikim. Yam pravajantam apeta kritya dvaipana viraha chohava putre tritanmaya tatabe abhinartaravo tam sarva bhutam hridim munim anatosmi. Nigama kalpa taror galitam palam sugamogadam ritariva sammudam vivada bhagatam rasamalayam muhura rasika bhuvi bhavukaham. Hare Krishna. So we're continuing to read from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, 21st chapter. The gopis glorify Krishna's flute. So yesterday we started with the first two shlokas. Sri Sukadev Goswami explaining to Parikshit Maharaj about how Krishna is entering the forest, accompanied by his friends, his brother Balaram, and the cows and the calves. And he's beautifully describing the Vrindavan forest and the beautiful, clear, transparent waters which are there, the different ponds. Yamuna river is there, and the cool breeze is there, and the hills, and the birds and the bees are there surrounding the flowers, and especially, of course, surrounding Krishna. And then he's explaining how Krishna began to vibrate his flute. Chukucha Venum. And now he's continuing explaining about the gopis and what they feel when they hear Krishna playing the flute. Tadvrajastriya ashrutya venu gitam smarodayam kaschit proksham krishnasya sasakibhyo anvanayam. So he's explaining, when the young ladies in the cowed village of Braj heard the song of Krishna's flute, which arouses the influence of Cupid, some of them privately began describing Krishna's qualities to their intimate friends. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving very beautiful explanations of these verses. And so here he's explaining that when the gopis were hearing Krishna's flute song, they began describing parokshavad, indirectly, paroksham, about Krishna, and Krishna playing the flute, and Krishna's activities. And so Vishwanath further is explaining so that the gopis were actually far away from the village in Braj, but still they were not just very openly wanting to describe about the activities of Krishna and their feelings for Krishna. So therefore it is mentioned here paroksham, so indirectly they were speaking. Further he is explaining that Vaniyatam arabdha smarantya Krishna cheshtitam nashakam smaravegena vikshiptam manasandripa. The cowgirls began to speak about Krishna, but when they remembered his activities, O king, the power of Cupid disturbed their minds, and thus they could not speak. So here the word there, in both verses, smara udayam, smara vegena. So smara means of course the feelings which came from their hearts. So sometimes it is explained also that the love of the gopis, so that is known as kam. So but we have to understand that two kinds of kam are there. One is in the material world, kam is there also, kam, krodh, lobh, moha, mada, matsarya, coming from the mind of the conditioned soul. So meaning lusty desires. But here it is explained by the acharyas, and that here actually that is transcendental kam, transcendental feelings of love, prem. That is another word actually for prem. So and then it is known, as we are reading also these days about spontaneous devotional service and the nectar of devotion, and Prabhupada has explained about these feelings of the gopis who have a transcendental love for Krishna. So as soon as they hear Krishna's flute, of course, or when they speak about Krishna, then these loving feelings are coming in their heart. And you here is explaining smaravegena, because of the strong loving feelings for Krishna. So they were first not able to speak properly about Krishna's pastimes. So that is actually quite natural when one has some these emotions, that sometimes when one is so happy, or when one is very distressed, and then sometimes even in the material world one may not be able to speak properly, or even when one is becoming very angry sometimes, then a person cannot speak properly. So that is seen also in the material world even. So, but the emotions of the gopis are completely transcendental. But they are very strong, these emotions. And due to that, so they were in the beginning not able to properly express themselves. And even as every day we recite in the Shikshashtakam also, the transcendental emotions are there. And the Nayanam Galadashudaraya Varanam Gadgadaruriya Kira Pulakanichiram Babagadat Tavanam Agrahane Bhavishyati. Mahaprabhu is saying, so when I chant the holy names, the tears will come from my eyes, when my voice will choke up, and the hairs on my body stand on end. So Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri, and he was chanting in front of Jagannath during Rath Yatra, for example. Many times he was not able to speak properly. He was so much feeling these transcendental emotions. Actually, he said that during this time especially, because Jagannath is Krishna, and he was seeing actually not just Dwarkadish, but he was seeing Mulida Krishna, and he was in that mood, also singing in front of Jagannath, or pulling the chariot, that in the mood of the gopis in Kurukshetra, wanting to bring Krishna to Braj, to Vrindavan. The Gundicha temple is representing Vrindavan. So in front of Jagannath, of course, so he was also offering very beautiful prayers in front of Jagannath. Like Nama Brahmana Devaya, Go Brahmanetaya Cha, Jagadetaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Many verses. Jayati Jayati Namana, Jayati Jayati Jana Nivasa Devaki Janmavada, and so on. Glorifying Krishna, the Supreme Lord, who is giving pleasure to the cows, the senses, the brahmanas, and of course, even in the other verses, to the gopis also. But sometimes then he was so much in transcendental ecstasy, and these transcendental emotions were so strong that he was not able to speak properly. And it is explained sometimes instead of saying Jai Jagannath, he was simply saying Jai Jaga, Jai Jaga. He could not speak properly because of these transcendental emotions. And tears were coming from the eyes like torrents of rains. So these are the symptoms of the advanced devotees, which were displayed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, Ashta Sattvika Bhav. So here the gopis, they are on the highest stage, of course, of love, the highest stage, Mahabhav. So these ecstatic symptoms they were repeatedly manifested. So here they could not speak properly in the beginning. And then Srila Shukadeva Goswami is reciting one very beautiful verse, which is actually famous amongst the Vaishnavas, especially living in Braj. Practically you can ask any Brijvasi and they will know that verse. Some of the verses which we also know in our Sampradaya, so they are known amongst all the devotees in Braj. Barhapidam natavara vapukanaya kanikaram Vibhadvasa kanaka kapisham vaichantim chamaram Randram venur adara soyapurengo pravindair Vrindaranyam sapadaramanam pravishadikirti. So very beautiful description of Krishna. Krishna wearing always a peacock feather, either on the crown or in the turban, or sometimes today Krishna is wearing a crown. I hope everybody remembers, or you can see beautiful crown, but the last few days he had a very beautiful turban. But always he has the peacock feather there, always. If not, we have to remind the pujari to put the peacock feather. But sometimes he doesn't even have a peacock, the turban, or he doesn't have a crown. But he simply has the hairs, and then a top knot on the hair. And then he has a beautiful a small pearl necklace around the top knot of the hair. And then there are some flowers in the hair, and maybe even sometimes some leaves, or maybe a gunja mala also, these red, white, black berries, gunja berries which are there very dear to Krishna also. They're reminding him of Srimati Radharani. So many things are reminding Krishna of Srimati Radharani. So he's putting that also there. And then he has the peacock feather there also. So that is always there. So here describing, so He has a peacock feather on the head. And then there's of course in Braj there's so many beautiful flowers, fragrant flowers. One of them is known as Kanikara flower. It's a blue color. And so many times he only has one of these flowers. And sometimes he puts here over the right ear or sometimes over the left ear. They're not so common, but yeah, you can find them in Braj still now, these Kanikara flowers. Actually, my house there, Radhani's house, we can say where I'm staying in Vrindavan, I had one of these creepers and one where these flowers were there, very beautiful. And then he's wearing a yellow garment, here mentioned as brilliant as gold. So Krishna is famous, Pitambara Vesh, wearing this a yellow color, dhoti and also the chadar. So because he wants to always be embraced by Srimati Radharani, so therefore he's putting on this yellow cloth, and therefore Srimati Radharani, she's putting on bluish color cloth, because she wants to be always together with Krishna. And actually, Radha and Krishna, so they are always together. If not physically, then mentally there, in consciousness. They are never separated. But still externally, sometimes they are separated and feelings of separation are there, and they are augmenting actually the transcendental loving emotions of the divine couple. And even then for the devotees, and we can see in the life of Mahaprabhu and the Goswamis, the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they were absorbed in chanting the holy names, but then sometimes they were feeling separation from Krishna. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Kaha Krishna? Kaha Murlidhar? Where is Krishna? Krishna who is holding the flute and crying. So sometimes the devotees are feeling the experience of Krishna. They are seeing Krishna or feeling Krishna. But then sometimes Krishna disappears from their vision. They feel that Krishna is not there. And then they're crying in separation. So the more advanced, so the more they will have these transcendental emotions for Krishna and seeing Krishna and loving Krishna. But then the feelings of separation also, they are very intense. So, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, so he exhibited these wonderful emotions. And therefore, Jagannath Puri is also known as Vipralamba Kshetra, where these feelings of separation are actually felt there, and it is mentioned that actually they are important even in our life. So as sadhakas, as devotees practicing, so we are chanting the holy names and we are serving Krishna and so we are connected to Krishna. But then sometimes you may also feel that how still I am so far from Krishna. And then we are forced to cry out to Krishna, please be present to me, please let me come nearer to you, please let me realize you fully. So these feelings of separation, they're actually important. So, and as explained, that Krishna is coming here to perform his pastimes with his eternal associates to attract the conditioned souls. And also so they may see how we have to serve Krishna, in which mood we have to love Krishna. Just about, so here it is about the gopis in Madhurya Bhav, but then in the chapter of the Damodar Lila, where Mother Yashoda, she is binding Krishna. So Prabhupada is explaining, those who want to come to the platform of Vatsalya Bhav, they have to carefully study the life, the activities and the moods of Mother Yashoda. So that is required, so that we can come to this position of devotional service, known as Raganuga Bhakti. Following the Ragatmik Jan, those devotees who have this deep love for Krishna, by hearing about them, by seeing what their activities, their moods, then this will also come in our heart. And then we can properly chant the holy names, then we can properly serve the deities or do any kind of service in that mood, and then we can become perfect in our lives. So Krishna is known as wearing this beautiful yellow cloth. And Kanaka Jalada Gatro Nila Sanab Janetro Migamandavara Bala Malati Kunda Malo Talar Talaravesho Nila Pidambaresho Smaranivrittanikunjararika Krishna Chandro. So that is a verse by Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. Smara, I want to remember, I should remember. Nikunja, in the Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, in the groves of Sri Vrindavan Dham in Braj, I want to remember. Radhika Krishna Chandra, Srimati Radharani and Krishna Chandra. And then explaining about Radha and Krishna. Kanaka Jalada Gatro, Srimati Radharani, just like molten gold, Kanaka, gold, her bodily complexion. And Krishna's Jalada, that is the cloud, Meg. So Krishna's name is Meghasham. Krishna's name is Meghasham, just like the dark black, blackish cloud. Or Ganashyam, Krishna's name is also like the cloud. Or Jalada, that is also the name of the cloud. Jal means the water, and Da to give, Jalada. So that is Krishna's complexion. Nila Asanam Janetro. So Krishna is always looking, where is Srimati Radharani? So therefore is mentioned the inner part of his eyes are actually reddish gold. Sona. Sona means golden color, the inside part. And Srimati Radharani, Nila, bluish color, because she always wants to see Krishna. And then Mrigamandavaravalo, Malatikundamalo, and they're wearing, both of them, they're actually wearing beautiful garlands made of these different flowers, as explained here also. Vaijanti Chamalam. So he's wearing this Vaijayanti garland, Vaijayanti Mala. So that is a very beautiful garland, actually made of 5 kinds of flowers in Braj. And sometimes the gopis, they put also the Tulsi Manjaris there inside. And that is then even more pleasing to Krishna. Or so these fragrant flowers are there, the Juhi, Malati, Champak flower, of course roses are there also. So many kinds of flowers are there, very fragrant. So they use these to make the garlands or the different ornaments. And it is mentioned that Krishna is wearing so many ornaments also, very beautiful ornaments. But they become beautiful because they are Krishna. Krishna even without ornaments is beautiful. It is explained also by Rupa Goswami in the Krishna Gunadesh Deepika about the associates of Krishna, their names, and there it is mentioned what kinds of ornaments Krishna is wearing, and it is mentioned that the flower ornaments which Krishna is wearing, they are most dear to him. For example, sometimes they make a flower belt. And sometimes they make some, of course the garland is there, flower garland, and then they make a choker that is around the neck. Usually it is also made with jewels or, so there's a kind of necklace here, just around the neck. Necklace here. And so, but if that is done with flowers, with different kinds of flowers, that is most dear to Krishna. And Venu Kasturi Tilakam Lalata Patare Vaksastale Kostabam. Also it is mentioned that he is wearing different bangles. But if he has the bangles made with the flowers, also that is most dear to Krishna, most pleasing. Or the Nupur, the ankle bracelets with little bells, so tinkling very nicely, that is very pleasing. And the gopi is also wearing. But sometimes Krishna is getting those made with the flowers by the gopis. So that is very dear to Krishna. So it is explained that these flower ornaments are most dear to Krishna, more than even gold jewelry, silver jewelry. That is most dear to Krishna. And even Srimati Radharani today, if you have seen, she has some special here, little flowers hanging from here. So that is also traditional from both sides. Sometimes Krishna also has a turban, and then here some little flower arrangements are hanging down here, either 2 or 3 on both sides. So very beautiful looking, and then very fragrant. Although Krishna's transcendental bodily fragrance is already unparalleled, but still then he has the beautiful ornaments, which are also giving a very wonderful fragrance odor there. So then here Nattavar Avapu, Nattavar, so it's the best of the dancers, that is explained. So there are many people who are dancing and like dancing, and even of course Lord Shiva is sometimes addressed as Nattavar, and that he's many times he's dancing like a madman, and especially at the end of the creation, also at the end of this material manifestation, is playing his drum, small drum, and then he's dancing very widely, and even sometimes actually becomes ecstatic by hearing about Krishna's pastimes or hearing about the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. One time he got a little morsel of Mahaprasad of Mahaprabhu when he was here present in this world, Mahaprabhu. And so he came there also in a disguised form, and he got a little Mahaprasad and he was dancing in ecstasy. But the greatest dancer, that is actually Krishna, and that is most beautiful. And of course the Ras Leela is explained also in the Rasa Panchodhyaya, the 5 chapters, 29 till 33. So that is considered the most beautiful loving exchange between Krishna and the gopis. Sarva Manoram, as explained by the Acharyas, most enchanting. And so when Krishna is dancing, the gopis are dancing with him, and very attractive, very beautiful. But sometimes then Krishna, so mostly he's dancing with the gopis together, but sometimes he's stopping and then he's dancing himself, he's doing solo dance, and all the gopis are saying, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Sadhu, as we know, means a saintly person, but Sadhu means also excellent, excellent, or we say bravo, bravo. Sadhu, Sadhu, they are saying, all the gopis. And then Krishna says to Srimati Radharani, now you dance. And then Srimati Radharani is dancing very beautifully, very wonderfully. And then even Krishna is saying, Sadhu, Sadhu, very nice, very wonderful. Randran Venur. So, and of course, when he's dancing also the flute is always there with him. And sometimes, so different kinds of dance are there, and you can even see now in Braj. So the Brijbasis, they are expert in actually presenting these pastimes with actors. And even Prabhupada, he appreciated and sometimes invited them to the temple when he installed the deities also, and they were performing. And then they're performing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna very beautifully. And that is helping to remember the pastimes. So that was the tradition previously. So of course nowadays in India or all over the world in the evening time, they're watching TV, or they were going to cinema previously, or now of course everything is on the iPhone, and they're watching on the iPhone different things. But previously they were hearing from the scriptures, from the saintly persons, or they were seeing these different performances by the different actors depicting the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, especially, but even Ramchandra's pastimes or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, because that is very helpful also to get some impression. So sometimes there's a stick dance, so everyone has a stick. Krishna even sometimes and Radharani, and then they're dancing and they are also with the sticks, they are hitting the sticks each other. And that looks very beautiful, very nicely. And then Krishna is dancing and then suddenly he slows down and he plays the flute. And the gopis are dancing, so very enchanting, very wonderful. But here, of course, so the description is there how Pravishat, he's entering the forest with his associates, Gopa Vrindair. And also it is mentioned here that beautifying the Vrindavan forest, the ground, with the marks of his footprints. So Krishna's body is most beautiful, most wonderful, and all the symptoms are there of a great personality in the form of Krishna, because he is the greatest personality. And it is explained in the scriptures that great personalities, so they have auspicious marks on the hands, or even auspicious lines are there on the hands. And similarly on the feet also. And so it is mentioned so that the Vrindavan forest, or even the whole Vrindavan area, is actually decorated with the auspicious marks of Krishna's lotus feet. And it is explained in scriptures that there are 19 marks on Krishna's feet. 11 on the right foot and 8 on the left. And similarly, as beautiful and wonderful as Krishna is his eternal consort, Srimati Radharani, and she also has 19 beautiful marks on her lotus feet. And as we know, usually the right side of the man is considered auspicious and the left one of the woman is considered auspicious. So therefore on Krishna's right side there are more, on the left there are less. And similarly on Radharani's left foot there are more auspicious signs, and on the right there are less. So 11 on the left and 8 on the right. And as far as I can see, here all the auspicious marks of the lotus feet of mostly Srimati Radharani is there depicted on the wall. So if you want to see, you can see later on after also. And it is mentioned, of course, that by seeing them, or by hearing about them, or by remembering them, these different symptoms, auspicious marks, then actually it will purify our heart and destroy some unwanted things in our heart. So that is explained by the Acharyas, and it is mentioned also here. And the devotees and all the Brijabasis, actually when they see Krishna's footprints, they will not step on them. They will go around because they are worshipable. So, and even Akrura, when he came, he had the difficult task of bringing Krishna from Vrindavan to Mathura. And of course, that is the whole story. And plunging then the Brijabasis into great distress. But when he came, he also saw the footprints. And then he was being careful, also not stepping on them. But he was then going down on the ground and rolling in the dust of Braj. So the devotees are careful that they are not stepping on Krishna's footprints. And then yes, and he was, it is mentioned, so playing the flute, and then the cowherd boys, as Krishna and Balaram entered the forest, they are actually glorifying Krishna also. In Braj, everyone is glorifying Krishna. So also the cowherd boys, the friends, Krishna's friends, they are glorifying Krishna. How beautiful he is, how wonderful he is, and what he's doing. So everyone is glorifying Krishna in Braj. Of course, especially the gopis, Maria Yashoda. So, as we have heard, every day when the cowherd boys, they come back from pasturing grounds, and then they're telling what happened during the day. Oh, this demon was killed, we did this, so we did that. And then the gopis and Maria Yashoda, so they were very happy to hear, and then the next day, they were actually singing this about these pastimes and glorifying Krishna. And therefore even now you can sometimes hear the villagers who come, the ladies especially, not the men, they are just the men are chanting Hare Krishna or doing something, but especially the ladies, the gopis, they're also gopis, still many gopis are there in Braj. Then they are also coming to Vrindavan, doing Vrindavan parikrama, taking darshan, especially when they do parikrama, then they are glorifying Krishna with beautiful songs in Braj Bhasha, very beautiful. So Sukadeva Goswami is reciting this very beautiful verse actually for our benefit. And so we can remember Krishna and Krishna's wonderful qualities. And so therefore most of the Brijavasis who are worshipping Krishna, they will know this verse. And they will recite this verse. And then Sukadeva Goswami is continuing. Iti venuravam rajan sarva bhuta manoharam shrutva vrajastriya sarva vanayanti bire bire. O king, when the young ladies in Braj heard the sound of Krishna's flute, which captivates the minds of all living beings, they all embraced one another and began describing it. So they have this, of course different kinds of gopis are there. That is also mentioned in the scriptures. And so Srimati Radharani is there and she is the foremost of all the gopis. There are millions of gopis that is described there. And of all of them it is mentioned that two gopis are the foremost. Srimati Radharani and Chandravali. But then it is mentioned, but of the two, Srimati Radharani is actually the foremost. So Srimati Radharani, so she has her friends, and there are different groups actually of gopis. 5 kinds of groups are mentioned there in the scriptures. So Srimati Radharani, so she is of course the leader of her gopis. She's practically of course the leader, she's the head of all the gopis. And it is mentioned that ultimately all the gopis are simply expansions of her, Kaya Vyuha. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Bhita Bhira Nijarupa Riyakalabhi. So that is mentioned in the Brahma Samhita also. That there are expansions of Srimati Radharani. And of course, she's the Mool Shakti, even the Lakshmi Devi is in the Vaikuntha planets, Parvati, Indrani, the wife of Indra, it is mentioned. So they are all actually expansions of Srimati Radharani. She's Mool, Krishna is Adi Purush, and Srimati Radharani is the Mool Shakti, Adi Shakti. So, but then here in the pastimes of Krishna, so Srimati Radharani has her friends, the Ashtasakis, they have the same age as Srimati Radharani. Lalita, Vishaka, Champakalata, Tungavidya, Sudevi, Rangadevi, Chitra Devi, and Induleka. So these are the Ashtasakis, the dear friends of Srimati Radharani, of the same age. And then she has the younger friends, the Manjaris, who are very dear to her also. But they are a little younger than Srimati Radharani, 1.5 years younger. But they are always ready to serve Srimati Radharani. And of course the foremost of them are Rupa Manjari and Rati Manjari, Lavanga Manjari. So Rupa Manjari, who is Rupa Goswami. So especially those of the same group, Radharani and Lalita Vishaka, so they were describing about Krishna and the flute, and then they were embracing each other. But some other gopis were there too. So that is explained, Chandravali, so she's Vipaksha Gopi, she's a rival Gopi, and she has gopis, her friends, Padma, Bhadra, Shaimya, so different friends of Chandravali are there. And so this transcendental competition there, some transcendental jealousy is there. But of course, Krishna always in the center. So, but here they are embracing, he's mentioning that they are embracing each other and they are naturally, they are describing Krishna and Krishna's wonderful activities, his wonderful qualities, and especially here about the effect of when Krishna is playing the flute. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining that the Krishna, of course, that is mentioned by Rupa Goswami Pad also in the Nectar of Devotion, that is a meticulous dresser. This is one of his qualities. So Vishwanath is explaining that Krishna purposefully dressed himself up in a very artful way to displaying his youthful charm. So Krishna is the perfect linguist, perfect dresser, is perfect in anything he's doing. So these are some of his wonderful qualities mentioned here also by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and of course Rupa Goswami, Shukadev Goswami. So he's the expert dancer, meticulous dresser, and yes, expert in playing the flute. And so then he's mentioning also that the gopis, so they were actually a little bit envious of the flute. Because as explained, the flute is actually always with Krishna. But then Vishwanath is explaining that the gopis, they might criticize the flute for having so many holes. Oh, look, this stick here. It's just a stick. And it's hollow. It's not even full, this stick. And even it has many holes. So therefore, he's saying that Krishna purposefully, he was playing the flute and he was filling all the holes with the nectar of his lips. So of course, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is very, very deep, of course being also a gopi, so is most learned and able to express the feelings of the gopis and all these acharyas, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur especially completely surrendered to Rupa Goswami, and who was also, of course, the greatest poet. So their descriptions are extremely poetic and deep and wonderful. And then he's explaining how the gopis are speaking amongst each other. And the acharyas have explained that different gopis are then glorifying Krishna, or Krishna playing the flute, or the flute. The effect of the sound of the flute when Krishna is playing. So the next verse is also very famous amongst the Vaishnavas. Si gopya ucho akshavantam param vidam na param vidamaha sakya pasona niveshayator vayasyai vatram vajesha sadiyor navena joshtam yaiva nipidamanorakta kadaksham. So the gopis were saying, "Oh friends, those eyes that see the beautiful faces of the sons of Maharaj Nanda are certainly fortunate. As these two sons enter the forest, surrounded by their friends, driving the cows before them, they hold their flutes to their mouth and glance lovingly upon the residents of Vrindavan. For those who have eyes, we think there's no greater object of vision." Yes, so we can see even, of course, for the sadhakas actually, so that should be also our mood, that we should always try to see Krishna. So therefore Prabhupada wanted that every day we go to the temple in the morning for Mangalatik and then Darshan. And even initially he was saying that the devotees should go for the morning program and then they should go for the noon Artig also, Rajbhog Artig, and see the deities. And then again in the evening, they should go to the temple and see the deities. So that is actually important, to see the deities. So we can remember the beautiful form of Krishna. Because we are not yet so purified, pure in heart, in consciousness, that we can see the actual form of Krishna. So therefore we have to see Krishna in the temple every day, as much as possible. Of course, then later on also when the devotees were busy in book distribution, and then some, they were working still also. So then Prabhupada was saying we should have a morning program and an evening program. But then of course those who are staying in the temple and those who are serving the deities, they're actually very fortunate. That they are morning, noontime, evening, serving Krishna, seeing Krishna. So that is very helpful. Therefore, it is explained in the 64 limbs of devotional service. The deity worship is one of the most important, Pancha Mahatvapurna Ang, 5 most important limbs of devotional service. After taking shelter of the spiritual master, Guru Pad Ashray, which is the first. Taking shelter of the spiritual master and then serving him and then hearing from him about the process of devotional service, about Krishna, and how to advance, and then performing various devotional activities. And there even Navadivida Bhakti is included, hearing, chanting about the Lord, remembering Him, serving the lotus feet, worshipping the deities. Again it is mentioned there. Then offering prayers, dasyam, understanding then the eternal Son of Krishna. And then in more purified consciousness, Prabhupada has explained in the purport to this verse by Prahlad Maharaj, that up to Dasyam, that is Vidimarg, following rules and regulations. And after Sakyam Atma Nivedanam, that is Ragmarg, the spontaneous love, spontaneous devotional service. So understanding that Krishna is actually our best friend. And then surrendering everything to Krishna. So on the spontaneous platform. But at the end, so the 5 Mahatvapurna Anga there, so Dham Vas, living in the holy place, Mathura Vas, and then Priti Purvak Murti Seva, serving the deities in the temple with love, and then Bhagavat Shravan, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam daily, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, and associating with the devotees, Sadhu Sangha. But even there it is explained, actually should be Sajatya Bhaktas, those who have the same mood. We should associate with them, especially those who are more advanced, those who want to go to Braj. And so we should associate with those devotees. And then we can progress nicely. So the spiritual master and then the devotees who are more advanced, and especially those who have the same mood. So Braj Bhav actually. And the most important activity is always, especially in the Kali Yuga, the chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So by chanting the holy names, we can advance, we can go deeper and deeper in the ocean of devotional service. And so even the liberated souls, they are chanting the holy names. All the associates of Mahaprabhu always, Mahaprabhu in Gaur-Lila, always chanting the holy names and remembering Radha and Krishna. Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das Goswami, Amani namanana Krishna namasaralabe, Braja Radha Krishna seva manasya karibe. That you should always remain very humble and respectful, but always take Krishna Nam sadalabe. And then Braja Radha Krishna Seva Manase Karibe. Then with your mind you serve in Braj, Radha and Krishna. So and in the CC we can see again and again, as in the Rai Ramananda Sanvad, also Mahaprabhu inquiring from Rai Ramananda Roy as he went to South India, and Sarvabhauma had told him, you should go and see Rai Ramananda Roy, a great devotee. So the wonderful pastime is there. And then he was inquiring from him about devotional service. And then so Rai Ramananda, of course he was inspired by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. And he realized that also. And at the end he realized that Mahaprabhu is actually not different from Radha and Krishna. So of course Rai Ramananda is an eternal associate, but still in the Leela in the beginning he did not know by the potency of Yoga Maya. And so there, when he was explaining about devotional service and surrendering everything to Krishna, Sarva Dharman Parijajya or Yat Karoshi Yar Yashasi Yasho Siddharyasya, speaking from Bhagavad Gita, some shlokas about surrendering to Krishna, giving up everything, and he was saying, very nice, but that is external, go further and further. One ashram also. But then ultimately, only when he came to Braj, then Mahaprabhu was saying, Bhalo, very nice, but please can you say more? And then he was saying, Dasya Bhav, very nice, please go further. And then Sakya Bhav, very nice, but please go further. And then Vatsalya Bhav, very nice. But then he said, can you go further? And then he went to explain about the transcendental loving exchange between Krishna and the gopis, and he was then very satisfied. And then he embraced Rai Ramananda. And so then he was also explaining Rai Ramananda about and then Mahaprabhu actually was asking some questions, even when he was already fully satisfied. And so he was asking, what is actually the most important thing to hear? And then Rai Ramananda said, that is about the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So that is most important, that is most pleasing to the ear. So the gopis, so they were fully absorbed in doing that. So the gopis, when they describing Krishna, so embracing each other and of course ecstatic symptoms were manifesting. And so they were saying, so for the eyes that is that is the perfection for the eyes. And so for us also to see the deities, that is perfection on our stage for our eyes, is to see the deities. And the perfection for the ears is to hear about Krishna. For the nose, the perfection of that is to smell the incense offered to the Lord. And for the touch, that is touching the lotus feet, that is the pujari can do that. Touching the lotus feet of the Lord and putting his head on the feet of the Lord. But we can also do that mentally even from outside. And sometimes in India they will do that. Just like they take the arctic sometimes, they do like this. Or they will do like this. Although they are staying outside, but with their hands they're touching the feet of the Lord and doing like this. Or with the mind also, touching the lotus feet of the Lord. So that is the perfection for the sense of the touch. So all the senses have to be engaged in the service of the Lord. So the gopis, so they're describing for the eyes. So that is the perfection, is to see Nanda Maharaja's sons, Vraja Sutayor. So not only Krishna but Balaram also. So Vishwanath has explained that even although Balaram is the son of Vasudeva and Rohini, but because, as we know, he came to Braj, and so therefore is also accepted as, and because Nanda Baba and Yashoda, they were taking care also of Balaram, so therefore he is also accepted as Nanda Baba's and Yashoda's son, although he is Rohini and Vasudev's son. Yes, so but he's mentioning there because they are actually, although they are only wanting to see Krishna, of course Balaram is also beautiful, very beautiful. Especially if you go to Vrindavan, we can see that in Krishna Balaram Mandir. Krishna and Balaram are there, and even of the two, I mean this Balaram is so beautiful on Krishna Balaram's altar. But then when you see, you go further to Radhashyam's altar, then you can see that Krishna Shyam Sundar is most beautiful. Why? Because Radharani is there. With Radharani, Krishna is most beautiful. Their beauty, everything is increasing in their loving exchange. Krishna becomes more beautiful when he's together with Radharani, and then Radharani is more beautiful. And there's a transcendental competition there. Who is more beautiful, Krishna or Srimati Radharani? Krishna, and then Radharani is more beautiful, and then Krishna is more beautiful. There's a transcendental loving exchange and competition there. And on Krishna Balaram's altar there, one time Prabhupada was asking the disciples, so who is stronger, Krishna or Balaram? And then some were saying, well, Balaram, because Bal is there, the strength is there. And some were saying Krishna. And so then they were all looking at Prabhupada. So Prabhupada, he will give the final conclusion, who is stronger. And then Prabhupada was saying, Krishna is stronger. Because you can see, Balaram is putting his arm on Krishna. He's leaning on Krishna. And so, yeah. Of course, he's Adipurush. Yeah, he's the strongest anyway, but still. Because the devotees have this loving relationship, and then the loving exchange is there, and then sometimes they forget the Aishwarya Bhav, in the Madhurya Bhav, we forget the Aishwarya, that Krishna is God. And even sometimes amongst the Gopas, they're fighting with each other and wrestling in loving exchange. And then Sudam or Sridham saying to Krishna, so you think you're the strongest? We'll fight. I will show you who is stronger. And then sometimes Sridham is defeating Krishna and saying, see, I am stronger. But of course, ultimately Krishna is the strongest, we know. But in the Leela, sometimes they're defeating him in play, in the loving exchange. And Krishna is relishing that also. And of course, sometimes, as discussed, so the transcendental loving exchange is there with Radharani, and they're playing dice, and sometimes Krishna is losing, and sometimes Radharani in wrestling also, but in wrestling mostly, of course, Krishna will have the upper hand. And here also again they are saying how they're holding their flutes to their mouth. So as explained before, so not only Krishna has a flute, but most of the practically all the cowboys have a flute. But especially here, he has mentioned all in the beginning, but at this time, when they were just observing him, and so Krishna alone was playing. And so they are describing Krishna's playing the flute, not the others. So of course there are so many other things which Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining here, but we don't have the time to explain everything because we have many more verses to cover. But one more thing is about the sidelong glances, kataksha, of Krishna. So, because anurakta kataksha moksham, so that is beautifully described, that in the loving exchange between Krishna and the gopis, so they have the sidelong glances. So Krishna also knows that the gopis are there and that they are looking at him. But then he's there with Balaram and the cowboys, and and he doesn't want to show them that he has a loving exchange with the gopis. And similarly, the gopis also, especially when the parents are there in Varshana or Nandagaon, so they are very careful because that would not be proper from the point of view of etiquette. But then they have the sidelong glances, which is of course then unnoticed by each other. Just like even in the morning when Krishna is eating together with Nanda Baba and his friends, then Srimati Radharani is going every morning actually there to cook for Krishna. So then she's making some preparations and then they're bringing it in. Not she herself, but there are servants there. And only Nanda Baba and sometimes his brothers, one of his brothers, they're also taking breakfast together with Krishna and Balram, and some of the friends are also taking sometimes. And the servants are bringing in and then they are eating. But then Srimati Radharani, she's looking there from a window how Krishna is eating, if he's satisfied with the preparation she made. Of course, Mother Rohini, she's also making some preparations. So everything, so they are serving then, and Krishna also knows which preparation Srimati Radharani is cooking. And he knows that she's watching. So one time, she made some Manohar Laddu. Manohar Laddu. So Laddu, which is Manohar, is capturing the mind, the consciousness. They are so delicious. So they were bringing that and putting in front of Krishna. And Krishna was looking at the laddu and he knew that Radharani is also looking. And then he was tasting the laddu and making a face, oh, it is not nice. And putting it down and then telling Sridham, oh, you please try. Not special, this sweet. And then Sridham is eating and he's smiling, oh, so nice. And eating one more. And then, of course, Radharani first she thought, what happened? It is not nice, this sweet. So that is a loving exchange, simply by the glances also, sidelong glances. And so, of course, that is important also. So for Krishna, so he's relishing that. But even the devotees, we actually, as explained, that we are going to the temple, and not just to see Krishna, as Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur Prabhupada used to say, we're saying darshan to see the Lord, but actually we should go to the temple so that Krishna will see us. Oh, my dear devotee has come. So Madan Mohan is seeing who is coming in the temple. Not only Mangalatik, but especially Mangalatik, but any time he's seeing. Because sometimes those who have children, the mothers, they cannot go early morning to the temple because they have to take care of the children. And Krishna knows, but the sannyasis and brahmacharis, they must go Mangalatik. The grihasthas, sometimes they are excused if they have children and they have to sometimes stay up all night. And Krishna also, he's most intelligent and he's most caring and most loving and most understanding and compassionate. So different rules are there, but still, of course, ultimately everyone should, and even the grihasthas, if they cannot come to the temple for Mangalatik, they should have Mangalatik at home. So with the deities there at home. So therefore, even at home one should have some deities, and if one cannot go to the temple, then one should do Mangalatik at home. But Mangalatik should be performed. And so that Krishna sees all the devotees so sincere, and then he will give his merciful glance that is required actually. We need the mercy of the Lord. We are begging for the mercy. And one is decided that, well, because Krishna in Braj, as we know, Vishnu, Narayan is straight, his crown is straight, his speaking is straight, his thinking is straight. But Krishna is known as Tribhang Shyama Sundar. He's bent in three places. He's not straight. His crown, Krishna's crown, is never straight. Tera. Everything is while crooked or it is not straight. And usually there are two different kinds of crowns. One is usually when he has a crown, one side is bigger and the other one is smaller. Different kinds of crown. Or sometimes it is going on this side, but going towards Radharani's side. So that is there. And so Krishna, then he's speaking, and as we know, is in his Braj Leela sometimes and not completely straightforward. Even sometimes, maybe he may be also not speaking the truth, lying. As Mother Yashoda also was at one time asking, so you took some earth? No, I didn't eat any earth. So sometimes, I heard you stole some butter from Gopi's house? No, I didn't steal any butter, makhan, no. But still, of course, Krishna, whatever he's doing is perfect and complete. Even his stealing butter, so that is most beautiful. Whatever he's saying is most beautiful. But it appears to be that he's stealing. But actually everything belongs to him. And the gopis are making makhan because they actually want that Krishna will take their butter. They're making butter only for Krishna. Therefore Krishna is going to their houses and taking the butter. So then he's looking also sometimes not straight and thinking in very different ways. Especially so he can go with the gopis and be with the gopis. So the devotees, they want also the Kripa Kataksha, the sidelong glances of Krishna or Srimati Radharani. Because mostly Krishna is also looking at Radharani. So how much sense we have that he's looking at us. But still he will look at us also. And he's seeing whoever is coming because he's omnipotent. And then even Prabhupada was saying, if Krishna is smiling at us, then our life is perfect. So we should look at Krishna and act in such a way so that Krishna will look at us and be satisfied with us and smile. So that is the perfection of the life. For our life also sadhakas. So this here we can see this not only for the advanced devotees, but it is also for us. So that it will encourage us, so that we can now become more and more absorbed and advanced in our life. And so that we can do everything for Krishna's satisfaction, even now in our stage as sadhakas, as practicing. But by hearing about the gopis, then we actually, so the feelings of the gopis can come in our heart. And eventually, even though now we may not be qualified, but eventually we'll be able to actually chant with transcendental emotions and become qualified to understand the wonderful loving exchange between Radha and Krishna. And then, so he's saying, so they are saying the gopis so Krishna is Anurakta Kataksha Mokshan, so he's glancing lovingly upon the residents of Vrindavan, all the residents of Vrindavan. So although the gopis are most dear to him and he wants to have the loving exchange with the gopis, but he loves everyone in Braj. And therefore his kataksha, his merciful, loving glances are going up upon all the residents of Braj. So he's merciful to all the Brijbasis. And having this wonderful exchange, but especially then with the gopis. And so then the next verse, Chuta pravalla barastabak palabja manar prikta paridana vichetra vesho madhye virajator alampashapala goshtam Range yatanattavara kvacha gayamano. So they're continuing describing Krishna's and also of course Balaram. They're still mentioning Balaram also. just out of respect, and also so that not that they are thinking that therefore also Parokshavad is there, that they're speaking indirectly, just because they're fearing that maybe somebody who should not hear what we are feeling, so if somebody else may be there who is also hearing, that they will not detect our sentiments, which are actually only mostly for Krishna. Of course, the gopis, they also love Balaram, but still, they have much more love for Krishna. And they want to be exclusively with Krishna. But they have so much love and respect for Balaram. The devotees, they have, so especially the gopis, they are the most exalted. They have the most exalted love for Krishna. So they love everyone in Braj. And they have the most love. One who has love for Krishna, he loves everyone. And is so much love for everyone. But especially, of course, their loving sentiments are towards Krishna. So dressed in a charming variety of garments, upon which their garlands rest. So they have beautiful garments, and they have even Balaram, so he's also getting a garland many times, but not always. Of course, in our temple we have always Balaram also as a garland. But in the Leela, of course, not always Balaram has a garland, but Krishna. So every day he's getting a garland. And then they explained how they are decorating themselves with a turban and then peacock feathers and different flowers, lotuses, and then even taking the different leaves from the auspicious trees, like the mango leaves from the mango tree, especially from the mango tree. Also, they look very beautiful. And they also, before Shukadeva Goswami was explaining that Krishna is Nattavara, the best amongst the dancers. Now they themselves also, they are saying that Range Yatha Nattavara Kvacha Gayamano. So the Krishna, so they are seeing Range, they are appearing on a dramatic stage. So they are practically so performing their wonderful pastimes. And then sometimes they sing. They are explaining that sometimes Krishna and Balaram themselves, they are singing. And that is explained also in the Krishna book, that sometimes Krishna is speaking to Balaram and describing the beauty of Braj. And sometimes, of course, Balaram is glorifying Krishna. And then the next verse, Gopya kimaccharadayam kushalam smavenur damodararara sudhamapi gopikanam bhukte sayam yad avashishtara samradinyo rishyatvacho shrumamuchostarayo yataryam. My dear gopis, what auspicious activity must the flute have performed to enjoy the nectar of Krishna's lips independently and leave only a taste for us gopis, for whom that nectar is actually meant. The forefathers of the flute, the bamboo trees, shed tears of pleasure. His mother, the river, on whose bank the bamboo was born, feels jubilation, and therefore her blooming lotus flowers are standing like hair on her body. Here they are describing about the flute, and they're feeling that the flute is getting so much nectar, and of course they are feeling that actually the nectar should be for us, but this flute is getting all the nectar. So here it is explained that actually in the Sanskrit the words, the different words are there for the flute. Vamsi, Murli, Venu. So Vamsi and Murli is actually feminine gender. Vamsi and Murli is feminine. whereas Venu is masculine. And of course, different explanations are there in this regard. And but the gopis are saying so that what auspicious activities did the Venu perform to become practically Krishna's beloved, Krishna's wife. So although Venu here is masculine, but they're still seeing that the Venu is just like a beloved of Krishna. And then he's explaining, just like sometimes there's a word for in Sanskrit language, even for the meaning of a wife, different meanings for wife, even in Sanskrit. One of them is Dara, which is masculine, but actually addressing a woman, the wife. So similarly in this case, so Venu is actually male, but here they are just expressing that how the Muli has, what activities the Muli has performed to become the wife of Krishna, so to say. So you can see the mood of the gopis, and of course, in one sense they are, because that is their love of the most exalted devotees, they are feeling that I don't have much love for Krishna. But others have so much love for Krishna. Even in the sadhaka sharir, when the devotees are here, the advanced devotees, they feel that everyone is engaged in serving Krishna and they have so much love, but I don't have much love. So here they are expressing these feelings there that everyone here is so fortunate in Braj and everyone has so much love and is fortunate, more than we are actually. Although they are, as we know, the most fortunate and the most exalted and most dear to Krishna. So that flute is drinking Damodara, the nectar of Krishna's lips, which is actually meant for us, they are saying also, indirectly. And then as further, they are also saying that the Venu is actually male, so how come it is still trying to enjoy with Krishna? That is not proper. So in this way, so they are, in one sense, they are also glorifying the flute, but on the other sense, they have some transcendental envy there, jealousy is there, and they are also, to some extent, trying to criticize the flute. And of course, then they are also telling about the fortune, the good fortune of the other trees, the bamboo trees, who they consider to be the parents of the flute, and the river, because the bamboo are there at the bank of the river, so the river are the mothers. So they are glorifying them also, and how they are fortunate that their descendant, the flute, has the good fortune of being always in the association of Krishna and getting the nectar of Krishna's lips when he's playing the flute. So this 20 to 2. We have to stop now, or what is everybody saying? We need to stop. Time for prasad? Maharaj? It's time for prasad. Okay. Okay. So it's 10 to 2. But I think I will just read one more verse, so then we have half, 10 verses, and then we have 10 for tomorrow. And somehow we have to do it. Is that all right? Just one more verse for 2 minutes, Maharaj? Okay. Is that all right? Vrindavanam sakibhava vinoti kirtim yadevaki sutapadam bhujalabda lakshmi govinda venum manumata mayura nityam prikshadri sanvavatanya samasta sattvam. Yes, we just don't have enough time what to do, but we just keep it short. So they're glorifying here then Vrindavan. Oh friend, Vrindavan is spreading the glory of the earth, having obtained the treasure of the lotus feet of Krishna, the son of Devaki. The peacocks dance madly when they hear Govinda's flute. And when all the creatures see them from the hilltops, they all become stunned. So here they are glorifying the Vrindavan Dham. And so, of course, this verse is very famous amongst the devotees also. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining that Vrindavan, so where Krishna is performing the pastimes, is most fortunate because Krishna is performing his pastimes there. And so in this way, Vrindavan is spreading the glories of the earth. Vi tanoti, Vishesh Bhavena tanoti. So Vrindavan is more special than Swaglok, than the higher planets, because Krishna is performing his pastimes there. And the symbols of Krishna's lotus feet, they are there on the holy soil of Vrindavan. And here also one point is mentioning Devaki Sutta, that Krishna is addressed here as Devaki Sutta. So somebody may think so that means that he is the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, but no, because Devaki is another name of Mother Yashoda. She has two names. Many times, even here in the West, some persons they have two names. At the time of the birth, it was done usually, even here in the West, previously they had two names, the children, not only one. Even in India, many times still the children, they have, well, mostly they have more. Practically all the children, previously especially, they have more than one name. 1, 2, 3, 4 names. They address them with many names. So that is explained by the Acharyas, that another name of Mother Yashoda was Devaki. And therefore she had also a very good relationship with Vasudeva's wife Devaki. And so the gopis are saying that it is not possible to find the symbols of Krishna's, Shyamasundara's lotus feet anywhere else, not even in Vaikuntha. And then he's explaining also that because they see that everyone is glorifying Krishna, so even the peacocks, they're dancing madly when they hear Krishna's playing the flute. They are so excited when Krishna is playing the flute. And then so they're saying that the peacocks are asking actually Krishna, Govinda, please make us dance by yourself dancing and playing the flute. Therefore Krishna is playing the flute and dancing also. And then they're also dancing and making very beautiful sound. And then out of satisfaction, out of gratitude, then the peacocks, they leave the feathers. And these feathers Krishna is taking and then is putting in his turban or in his hair. So which they are offering out of love. And then it is explained, so all the deities and they are also relishing Krishna's performance when Krishna is dancing and playing the flute, and they're watching from the hill when Krishna is performing his pastimes and dancing, when Krishna is dancing. So we will hear more tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.